Start. Right, we're recording. Amy, I think it's your own intro duty today.
It's my yes, it is. Yeah,
it's my fucking intro.
All yours, man.
No, it is. I was the winner for last week, so I get to do the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Watch Graps With Me on the Nerds Eras channel. We are back we're still a fucking quartet.
Yeah,
that's the right thing. Yeah, we're a quartet now. Yeah, so we are joined by Jonathan, as always.
Me, my shiny head.
And look at the shiny. We have Foxy.
Not sponsored.
The Fox Star.
Not yet sponsored. And then, of course, we have Dennis and his macho hat.
Hola. There's a reason I have it on. It's so I'm not shiny like Jonathan.
Yeah, it's also the baldness. I am not bald.
Yeah, remember, I'm the shiny one here. There's only one shiny person allowed.
Sorry, I don't have that problem.
Dickhead.
What am I going to do with all this hair? Oh, what am I going to do with all this hair?
This is a sign of extra testosterone. We're more men than
Weakness. Just because to show you weaker follicles. That's all it is.
Because you're stressed to the gills. That's what.
Well, so yeah. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much my entire life.
Jonathan's like, get off. Jonathan's like, get off the fucking baldness, okay? Get on with the fucking show.
I'm somehow stressed. I'm not even employed.
When I started the Madness channel, this is what 5 years of editing does to a man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, dealing with the Madness channel. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And I thought it was just dealing with me. I thought it was all my fault. Jonathan had hair, and then 3 weeks after he met me, he was bald.
True. Have you guys actually seen me with hair? There's like a
You sent me a picture. You sent us like pictures. It's weird. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, did you ever see me with hair?
No, you've yet to send us a picture.
I'll send you a picture right now of a fabulous picture.
While you
all
do
right,
that,
so Dennis is
continue.
Yes, let's get on with the show.
Picture. So this week's topic of discussion, what we're going to be looking at, it's basically a versus. I decided I wanted to do HBK versus Chris Jericho, the born again Christian versus the Trump supporter. So I mean, like, it can go either way. It can go either way on this one. So what we've done is we have picked 2 matches. Jonathan's cheated, so we've picked 2 matches. Okay, so myself and Dennis had gone with the HBK side. We were like, right, we'll stick with HBK because HBK is our boy, and Foxy and Jonathan more or less by default had to pick Jericho. Foxy stuck to the rules. Jonathan did not. Jonathan decided to fuck it up by picking a Jericho versus HBK match, which it's a grand match. Like, it's fine. Like, like, we can't really get pissy.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, if he didn't do it, I was definitely picking it. So
I was also going to do it myself. I was also going to do it myself, but I really
So why are you blaming me then? Why am I getting the blame?
Before I had a chance to.
Something you were going to do.
Because you did it before I had a chance to. And honestly, I don't like being beat. I don't like being beat to punch.
You know this. On that as well.
So I just sent the rest of them a picture of me when I first moved to Waterford.
GameStop? Are you working in GameStop?
It was in Smith's.
Oh,
that's definitely Smith's.
Jesus.
And I had long flowing locks, and I had it in pigtails.
You know, I'm gonna keep that for the edit. So I'm just gonna let that. I'm gonna keep that one for editing reasons.
Yeah.
At least my picture wasn't like horrifying. That's nightmare. At least the picture I sent was cute and adorable. That's just. But yeah,
I was fabulous.
So we're gonna get started. Oh, where did that accent come from? We're going to get started with our first match, which is Foxy's pick. So Foxy, do you want to do the introductions to your matchio?
I suppose.
I didn't take any tablets today either, so I'm gonna have to stay awake.
Oh Jesus!
You didn't drop any E's. What the fuck did I tell you?
Set your timers, lads. Like, Amy's gonna go sleep in next.
We do sleep stakes here on the channel. So I've got 45 minutes on at the moment. And Fox, did you go for an hour?
No, I went for less because I knew that's what I was gonna take.
Oh, it was Dennis who went for an hour then. Yeah, gotcha.
What did I
Let's
what
do
now?
this more. I have
For the
said this
sleep
numerous
takes.
times. Basically, see
Oh.
how long it takes me to fall asleep.
Anyway,
Or did anyone guess how long it would take me to put on a Supernatural episode? Because I have one lined up ready to go, just in case.
no.
Your dedication to the channel really does deserve commendment, Amy.
I
Foxy,
think it's like
tell us about your match.
Yes. So, in picking with the whole theme of like this particular show, I went with Jericho, but obviously the match that I wanted I couldn't do because Johnson I stole that one. So then I had to rack my brain about like, okay, that's a more modern Jericho that we're seeing. So it'd be nice to go back and see him in his younger days before he really like got noticed.
Yes.
I mean, I thought like this is a great pick considering that who he's working with. It's very hard to say that Eddie Guerrero has a bad match. So like you have the talent of Jericho as well. Them two, they do put on very, very good matches against each other. So I just thought this would be a great one to show, and that's Eddie Guerrero versus Jericho from 1997 in WCW.
Yes, Fall Brawl.
Fall Brawl.
Mm.
So if everyone is ready, I will count you in.
I am excited.
Do
Yeah.
so.
So 3, 2, 1, ding ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Detector to come back home through the airport if he's got all that hardware.
Well, fans, this is one of two big
All right, then, so.
matches we have here tonight.
What a legend that referee is. That referee is an absolute legend.
Just with the hair?
See, I
or-
remember this.
No. Because like on multiple incidents, especially with WCW, they would have a fan would try to run in on various different matches.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, he used to beat the shit out of it.
yes,
Yeah, he'd go
Like-
for them before the wrestlers even did.
yeah. Sometimes the wrestler didn't even see them. Like he was always on the ball.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good referee, but I mean like that's when you know you have a good one. It's like he was really on the
He
ball.
had his eye on everything, not
Yeah.
just what was happening in the ring. Like, his awareness was great. I actually remember this. I was growing up, like I was more of a WCW fan than I was a WWF fan, purely because I don't know how it happened, but we didn't have many channels.
You got
what we did have
WCW
was-
instead.
Yeah, we had TNT, which had WCW Monday Nitro on it. So I used to fucking watch Monday Nitro all the time. I mean, obviously, well before the death, you had the cruiserweights lighting up the scene like these two guys. I mean, Jesus Christ. There was just nothing like it at the time.
That was the kind of case with WCW. They didn't really know how good they had it, but at the same time, it wasn't really in vogue to have like small wrestlers doing good work. It was all about the big, like pompous superstars still at that point, you know. But this definitely was.
But
the
even the
future.
little things
I
I'm
see it.
noticing here, like that I love, I suppose from working standpoint, like the little things, rather than going up and just complaining to the ref, Eddie goes up, he grabs the ref by the hair to try and show that his hair was pulled, and it just gets him a little bit more heat as a heel, but being a dickhead.
It's even simple
little-
stuff like the light and dark tights. Like this is stuff that people kind of forget to do nowadays. You know, where everyone's kind of like so dedicated to their own kind of like themes and stuff, or not realizing who they're in the ring with. So like two people who have always worn black and will never wear anything else, then like they both kind of like cancel each other out. But
Yeah.
having Jericho
It's
just
little
light
things like
tights-
that,
Yeah.
that I love about it with the psychology and stuff. Even just the smartness of it, they're giving themselves a second to breathe by Eddie doing little things like just begging off for a second.
Yeah.
And like,
Not
all
only
it does
that.
is add to the story.
It adds to the story, but not only that, like you're also giving yourself a chance. They're also using the referee in between.
Yeah.
And for a normal fan, you wouldn't notice that because
Yeah.
like Eddie Guerrero going up and complaining and pulling them, he's actually telling them, like, tell him do this. He goes over to Jericho. It's like, did you do this? He told you this.
Yeah.
He's like calling. the
It's
spot.
utilizing that third man in the ring, which
Yeah.
I suppose you probably know as well. Probably not enough people do.
No,
You know?
not at all. Like, there's very few of them that really know how to utilize a referee.
Yeah.
They usually like to do their own thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you can take advantage. It's a third man in there. You can really use it to your advantage. Like whether you're telling the story or whether you just want to relay a message to your opponent, whatever, you can use that person.
Like even a simple thing like this, like in the corner, like just you get some
beautiful uppercut.
You get some referees that just like no, just 1, 2, 3. That's not a referee that works with people then.
No.
Yeah.
Like if you get a referee that works with you, then simply that they're just like, come on, get him out of the corner, come on, bring it out. It's like, right, I'm gonna have to count you. Come on, 1, bring it out. 2, you're giving them more time to do what they need to do. Because like
the fans to no end, by the way, especially when it's their favorite in the corner.
Yeah.
Throwing that out there.
And just a little,
because like I bear in mind, like I watch this purely from a fan perspective. I don't pretend to know what else is going on because I'm too drunk.
Oh no, but you're fairly you're pretty well up on wrestling in general.
Oh no, see that's the thing is, no, I am. I'm like I hate it, but like I would say like I'm gonna sound like such a little twat saying it.
You're gonna call yourself a smark.
I am like, but it is, and I hate it because I am very much in the know, and it kind of ruins an awful lot of wrestling for me. But then,
but you do run with a lot of workers and stuff like that, so you know it's kind of by default.
That I'm I'm friends with an awful lot of people that do it, but like as soon as I'm actually sitting in a crowd watching, I kind of forget that.
That's the best way to be.
I forget it all the time, but it riles me. I get far too invested in it because I drink too much.
A little thing there, like now Jericho has Eddie in the armbar. Eddie's shoulders hit the mat.
Yeah.
Referee start counting. That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, that's one of the things with me that I absolutely love. It's little things like that, like it's like adhering to the rules properly. Like his shoulders are on the mat.
Like Eddie just adding the extra humor. It's like, I have the rope. Come on.
Yeah. But if you actually look at what they've done in this match, right, they've managed to keep the crowd invested. They haven't actually done that much. They've done a few arm drags and they've done a few holds. That's kind of it. A few chops and a few uppercuts.
But it's everything else. It's what they do in between. It's like
but that's it. They're telling the story, which invests people.
Actually generally know how to tell a story because they knew it's the only time they were ever going to fucking get on a bloody card because WCW were wankers about them. So they were like, you know what? We do work well together. We know exactly what we're doing. The double ring is pissing me off so much.
Like I was never a big fan of a double ring. Like
it annoys me because I'm always expecting them to go into the next ring.
You're also like cutting off like a whole angle, like like that people can actually like see. Like that's why I noticed with WCW, with WWE nowadays when you do the War Games, you usually have one match in one ring, the next match in the second ring.
Until the actual War Games match. Yeah.
Like so that's a way of like the crowd that's at the far end. At least they can actually see him.
Yeah, they can actually see him match.
It's a much better way of doing it. One thing that always strikes me whenever I watch these classic matches is, it's been said, Fox, you've definitely heard it from Joe, etc. Like, one of the huge problems with wrestling today is doing too much. Like, going in there, doing your 20 flips and your fucking huge power moves.
That's ridiculous.
And your gazillion false finishes. Like, when you can go in there, you can literally, you don't have to be the best wrestler in the world. You really don't. You can go in there and you can do basic stuff and tell your story. And it can be just as good as anything else. Like, you don't need all the flippy shit if you know your psychology, etc. That line salt was beautiful.
Yeah.
If you're going in to do a match, the whole point of it is to tell the story. I don't give a shit if you want to get your whatever in. No one gives a shit about that unless you're a particular wrestler and that's all you're known for. Yeah, okay, that's all we want to see you do. We want you to see the flippy shit. That's all, because that's all you're known for. That's
but when everyone can do that, it's just like, how do you stand
when
out
everyone it becomes the most overly saturated shit on the planet. The Canadian Destroyer used to be an excellent move when someone whipped it out, and then all of a sudden everyone's doing it as a transitional move, and you're like, fuck you.
Not only a transitional move, but you also see like different scenarios. Like they're doing it off the second rope, they're doing it off the top, and it's not in the finish.
No.
Yeah, it's like this isn't impressive anymore. You've literally you're not. I'm not entertained by this.
Well, it's
now
like,
you're just
where do you
showing
go
off.
from there?
But you base all over the people that do hit the Canadian Destroyer normally.
Yeah.
and that's usually what they use, like either to set up their finish or to actually finish the match, which is very few and far between. Like I'd
There's a
say,
match that always comes to mind about this, and it's from one of the contenders. I won't name who it is because one of them is very redacted, but you know which one I'm talking about.
Yes.
Everyone knows this match. It's a stinker. It's perhaps the worst match that's happened in contenders, and it's not because like
Oh yeah.
it's not because like there was an injury or anything like that. It's because the match
Shocking.
like
the
made
gift
no.
moments.
There was no storytelling. There was no.
Yeah.
It was literally
psychology.
get.
There was
I
no
want to
character.
get this shit in. I want to do
Yeah,
this.
that
I want to do this.
pisses me
And
off
that's
so
all
much,
it was. Both of them were literally. I just want to do.
Spots.
Yeah.
Anything that's
No,
gonna
as
be
it
like
was
a
happening.
gift.
But like, here's the thing: is like I actually remember being like I was at that. I was sitting in the
Yeah.
fucking front row for that one, and I zoned out of it completely because I'm like, you aren't doing anything here.
You
Do you
need
know what we
something to
did?
like.
What
You
I
could
did during
drag
that
people
match
in with a fucking headlock. You
Main
don't
move.
need to be doing shooting star presses and all that shit.
Honestly,
You
if I
bring
can, if
them in
I
with
can
other
actually,
stuff.
if I can get into a Michael May match and all it is technical, I'm not a massive fan of technical wrestling at all. Like I'm not like
Yeah.
I'll put my hands up. I like high flying sets. I like it when they're done right. But if I'm watching a Michael May match, I know going into it, oh god, this is just going to be real mat-based technical wrestling. But I get really into it because he actually knows how to tell a story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he
Do
actually.
you remember
knows
the
how
match
to
he
tell
had
a
with
story.
Maxer? I love that match in
That
particular
was
because
fantastic.
it added a story into it. There was that zero
That was
G
a fucking
aspect.
fantastic match that
Yeah.
was. And
Beautiful.
honest to God, I didn't go in expecting much out of it. But Jesus, I was proper drawn into it.
Yeah.
Because
Because
they
there was an
wouldn't be
actual
high
story
on
in
my
there.
list. Yeah, they're not high on my list of favorites. Or
One
people
of
I'd
the
go out
best
of my way
things
to watch.
Yeah.
I ever heard was, and it seems self-explanatory, like you should know, but I hadn't heard it said before, was at the beginning of a beautiful. Look
Eddie
at that.
Guerrero is jacked.
I fucking miss
But at
it.
into a dragon sleeper, Jesus. At the beginning of a school show, and kind of the crew was there. The crowd wasn't in yet, and we were having a meeting. I can't remember if it was might have been Paul Tracy. Was he Paul or Joe? I don't know which one. But they said just real simple.
Oh, he's
Lads,
doing my
know your
version of the RPG, the chest burster. Fuck, I didn't realize I think this gimmick. Sorry, Eddie. Whoops.
He's doing.
Sorry, mate.
He was saying
I
all
think-
he
I
said
think
was
he'd be happy.
know your place
I
on
think
the
it's
card,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is if you're the opening match, don't go fucking crazy with because how is the main event going to top that?
Yeah.
Your job is know your spot, know what you need to do. If you're opening, if you're jerking the curtains, you need to warm up the crowd. That's your job for the day, is warm up the crowd. You don't need to be doing crazy shit. You have to be teamwork oriented. You can't fucking try and blow up everybody
See,
so
this
that
the thing
nobody can
is,
follow you.
I would imagine that there's in a sense there of certain, like I'm not going to name names because I'm making a broad generalization here. I would imagine that there is an awful lot of lads who think they're a lot better than they actually are.
Oh, I
And
mean,
then it
without
gets to
a
the point,
doubt.
oh, I'm opening the show. And then they go out of their way, I would imagine, to just try and fuck someone else over. So it looks like they were the better worker that night.
It kind of depends, I think, on who is booking /
Like, I'm
promoting
like,
it,
but see,
and
this
whether
thing
they're
is,
going to let
I'm
that
a right.
slide.
See, here's the thing is, I'm a right cunt, right? When it comes to certain things, I enjoy being in the spotlight, especially when I know it's something that I can do, right? So if this was something that I could do, chances are I would be that cunt. I will put my hands up and say I probably would be that cunt.
Oh,
If someone told me
fucking hell.
I was opening the show, I probably would be the bitch. I'd be like, well, fuck you. Then I'm gonna
Yeah.
make sure I
That's something
fucking
that's
make
not used often.
work.
It's
No.
really not.
Make note of it for the RPG guys.
Oh, we know
Don't
already,
tell me
Amy.
no.
We know already.
Selena and Kratos have their new gimmick.
Still though, like, how impressive would that be if we had one of the young talent now, like do
Oh,
that?
is he going to do a reverse Alabama slam?
Boom.
No, he's going up. Oh, electric chair. Nice.
That'll change your expression.
I just realized we haven't actually discussed Jericho yet. We
It's not
discussed
that
Eddie.
Plenty of time.
It's really
You
fucking
see,
good.
to me,
Yeah.
looking at this match, I don't know. It looks like Eddie's impressing me more than Chris.
Chris, yeah, see, this is the funny thing about it is, like, if someone had kind of come around, like, I know for a fact, like, people that I would have went to school with who we would have watched wrestling, if I was to mention both of these people, Chris Jericho would be an afterthought.
He's still favoring his back.
Yeah.
Guerrero
See, that's the problem.
will
Yeah,
always be top.
Eddie
will always be
Eddie's
top of
fucking
the
Eddie,
list,
like.
I think, yeah.
Oof.
This is the kind of interesting argument we have with this kind of show, because in a way, like on paper, and I suppose like from kind of recollection, everyone will remember HBK first. But the thing is, like, Jericho is not necessarily a hidden gem, but kind of a forgotten gem in some aspects.
He's a forgotten.
Like, yeah, and it's not. I know it's hard to be kind of forgotten when you've been around for like 25 years.
He's a tarnished gem at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you see, this the thing is, now that I think nowadays we get to see the personal lives a lot more than the professional. So like the business isn't. Oh, I can't believe I said that. It's not protected anymore.
Ooh.
Everything is there to
That
be
was
seen.
brilliant. So that spot
great.
was fucking brilliant. I love that
good.
spot.
But like everything is there, like, to be seen. Like, so fans see everything that goes on behind closed doors. We all know what goes on. We read it on the internet, sort of thing. And I think it's now that it's like you're not judging wrestlers anymore. We're just judging people. We're judging the person. So if you're a shitty person in your personal life, your character will not get over with most fans.
Some people have managed to dodge that.
Most fans. That's what I mean, though. It's like, well, see, the thing is, this thing is like, I'm one of these people. It's like, I'd love to be able to say, well, I can differentiate, I can separate the character from the person, right?
Oh,
I cannot.
What a German! Jesus.
I can't do that when I find out what your political view is, what your political viewpoint is, especially if you're American. If I find out what your political view is and it's Republican, very quickly I'm like, oh, I will never be able to support you. You could be the fucking greatest wrestler of all time. You could cure cancer, but you'd be a Republican and I will still have a sour taste in my mouth about you.
See, I think for this particular show, I'm attempting to
The Rock is on that list, by the way.
On the matches solely, to try and make a as fair and as impartial as I possibly can.
Oh no, I understand that. And so far, Guerrero is top of my list on who the better wrestler is so far in this entire show, and he's not even an option.
Yeah,
like I picked this, like, I knew full well, like, if it's with Eddie Guerrero, it's gonna be a good match. Like,
yeah.
Eddie Guerrero can drag. I'd say he would be able to fucking drag a match out of anybody.
Yeah.
He has dragged a match out of everybody.
I say this as a compliment. I think Pete Dunne is our equivalent of Eddie Guerrero.
He can drag a good match out of anybody.
Yeah.
Now, I don't say that lightly, because, like, we know how good Pete is.
Oh, I'm stealing that move. That was beautiful.
That's the thing is like, we know how good Pete is now, but like, even I've been able to watch an awful lot of his early shit.
Even when I first met him, I knew how fucking good he did.
Like, I think he started like when he was like 12 or 13 or something like that.
Yeah,
so like, you're like, at that point you should, like, your first match should be a shit match, right? And I remember Mark Andrews did a thing. It was my first match with. And it was he did it on YouTube. He had it like on his YouTube channel and stuff. And even Pete Dunne's first fucking match, you're like, you should not be this good at that age. Like, he just seemed to kind of, it was like a fucking, it's just something he was born with.
But like, it's also scary though, because like, if you look at Irish wrestling and then think of when we got the likes of a Pete Dunne or Ryan Smile, like, they were on a different level compared to
there was such a gulf in talent. Not even in talent, in polish.
Yeah.
We do have talented people here, even at the time when they were coming over.
Yeah, I know, it's nasty.
But the thing is, like, the actual, like, they weren't as focused as, say, Smile and Dunne, because I think they had a bit more of a trajectory.
Fantastic match.
The British scene as it was, there was a more of a structure. With us, they were still essentially backyarders and like whatever the fuck ECW was. You know what I mean? So it is that kind of way of looking at it.
To go into that match a little bit now that it's over, from my opinion, I mean, look, top quality match, obviously. Look at the talent you have involved. You have Eddie and Chris Jericho. Look, again, Eddie's going to drag a great match out of everybody, as Amy and we're saying. I mean, they kept a high pace the whole match. Only one botch. Now, it did look fucking scary towards the end, where Eddie was clearly meant to kind of go into a crossbody out of a superplex, but landed on his fucking head. But popped straight up from it. But still kept that entire pace. I thought that was fucking fantastic. But again, to the point, that felt more like an Eddie shine than a Chris shine to me.
I will give that, but like I wanted to show a younger Jericho and just showcase that. Like,
fair.
Look,
do you know the point I will make here? The point I will make here about Jericho is that when it comes to his in-ring quality, okay, take the last maybe year now out of that because he's like he's hit 50. But when you compare like Jericho from that match there to say the Jericho we're gonna see later on, not a lot has changed. You know, like he has been.
That's fair too.
He has been at a consistently high level in terms of his in-ring output, and character-wise, that has just improved over time. You know, we're not going to touch it here, but even like the period, the suited Jericho that's from like 06-07 SmackDown.
I love that Jericho.
In a very like fallow like period of wrestling. That character was superb.
You know something. Maybe I'm not really doing a start. Look, it takes two to have a match.
Yes,
and
definitely.
I mean that was a very, very good match. So I really shouldn't be discounting Jericho that much.
No, well, like,
it's not all on Eddie, like, you know.
No, it isn't. But like, the thing is, you have two people that know how to work together.
Yeah,
and that's what you want. You have two people that know each other very, very well.
And they gel.
And they gel so well together. It's like it's like you can guarantee if you put two of them in the ring and you told them just do whatever you want sort of thing, they will be able to pull something out on the fly because just because of how well they're able to work together. And like it is like it's anytime you do see it, like I know we are kind of singing the Eddie praises on this one, but like it is one of those things. It's like no matter like it. You can go into a match, like Jericho can actually go into a match with anybody himself, and he can pull something out of it. And even if it does come into a bit of a botch work, he knows how to turn it around. And if it's like, if he's playing the heel and the face botches something, he turns it around and puts it on himself. He's able to do that. And like with a fucking flick of the wrist sort of thing, and he's able to do it. So like, as he progressed in his career, like he gets so much, he has gotten so much better. With how he's gone on,
and there is a reason that he's had how many years of a career. I mean, that doesn't just happen. Like I mean,
well, he's definitely in the 20s now at this point.
Yeah, because like, he were with Jericho about his career's relevancy. Like throughout, you could there is like rings to the Jericho tree in a sense where like you can kind of pinpoint. You have the Lionheart part of his career with ECW, New Japan, and so forth, and then WCW. Then you have the Y2J section, and that continues on and on and on. And there's just different layers to it. Even the stuff when he came back initially with the kind of the Save Us Y2J aspect to it. Then There Will Be Blood type character, and then the stuff like his later run with WWE, where he was a bit more of an ancillary kind of character, but still just like having a few to put someone up.
The list was the greatest thing that came out of wrestling, and
I did love the list.
Jericho came back with something different.
It's the stupidest fucking thing. But like, honest to God, that is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard of. You're putting some, that's ridiculous. And then as soon as I saw, I was like, this is genius.
But the blow off with Kevin Owens was fucking fantastic. That was fantastic.
Like, I'm sorry, why I felt horrific when he was like, why is my name on this? I'm like,
oh no! It was perfect. It was perfect. It elicited emotion, and it's so like, difficult for... Yes. I know for myself, and I'm sure for you guys as well. Like I'm jaded, like as kind of as far as wrestling goes. So when I get something that can, get a legit reaction from me,
talk about
it can something that gets a legit reaction from me means it's fucking good.
Jericho had an unbelievable talent of being able to get multiple things over at once.
Yeah, chemistry with people as well. That's the thing. There's very few people that Jericho wasn't able to make magic with.
Yeah.
So that was the thing.
We're talking about someone who was able talking about someone who was able to get people over on this one. We're going to move on to a bloke who was able to get people fired. And this is Dennis's pick.
That's the opposite side of the coin. What's our scores for the Eddie Jericho match? What scores are we giving them? Because again, considering that, like, okay, so considering that this one was a
I
bit of
didn't,
a,
I don't think we were going to be scoring this one per se as we normally
I
would.
didn't either.
yeah, we'll put a score. I think the
Because-
score like prove who was the best. That's what I'm kind of. That's the way I'm kind of looking at it. Like the truth.
I legit just wanted to do this one as a discussion show. I didn't think we were going to actually do scoring on it.
It's up to you guys. I mean, it's entirely up to
Well, again,
yourselves.
Not really the
what would
messages I
be the
sent.
criteria
Yeah.
for scoring? Like, are we scoring on the individual person? Or are we scoring on the match as a whole? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
See, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's normally we would
Normally
score them
match
on a match
quality.
as a whole.
yeah.
Yeah, but I suppose it's match like
Match quality on that one, I'd
or-
put that one as an 8 out of 10. Like
Yeah, because I was going to
match
go 8 as
quality
well.
as an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, because the way I look at it, it's what if this is like the argument for Jericho. Let's say, how does this match like score? That's the way I'd look.
Okay,
at it.
so if it was the match, I would be up around the 8. But if it's Jericho, I'd be down at 6. Because in my opinion,
Yeah, it's not his best.
I felt
mean,
Eddie took control, and that was
Yeah.
Eddie's match more than
Yeah.
it was Chris's.
No, that's
That's
fine.
my opinion.
So let's treat it that then. So you can call it as a 6 from that aspect of it, and I'll call it an 8 because I think that is just like, again, going by the the tango kind of like situation. As much as Eddie kind of put into the match, Jericho reciprocated and kept the.
I'd go with a 7 on that one because I do
Okay.
think kind of Eddie. I'm more taken by Eddie in that match than I am by Chris.
Okay, that's fine. So we get a score of 21 on that. So that's like 21 in the Jericho camp, let's say. So
Okay.
that kind of starts off
Okay.
his aspect, and then we're going
Grand.
to
Okay.
switch to the HBK camp and see what happens. So
Yeah. So as I
Okay.
said, so we're moving on to this is Dennis's match, Dennis's pick.
Yes.
So Dennis, as I said, we have the Shawn Michaels pick. So who
Yes.
do you?
So now I might be in the minority on this one. I don't know, but I kind of like this one more. So this is Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon. Not the first encounter. This is the second time. This is at 1995 SummerSlam. I like it a little bit more than the Mania one.
Mhm.
And it's purely because, to me, looking at Shawn does so much to put over Razor here. He sells like a fucking madman for him. In fact, he gives him most of the match for Michaels to kind of come from behind at the end. And it really kind of helped build Razor as a star, but also it legitimized the ladder matches as well. Remember, like, we'd only seen 2 ladder matches before this, and one was the same competitors. It was Shawn and Razor, and before that it was Shawn and Brett.
Yeah.
Now there were ladder matches before, but you're talking in the 80s and stuff. I think Buddy Rogers possibly, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But this one kind of solidified it in the mainstream.
These are the first televised ones.
Yeah, I picked it because
What?
I'm a sucker for a good ladder match, and this to me exemplifies. And also another thing I like, the ladder wasn't overused, so it was a solid match on itself. And the ladder's there, you definitely know it's there, but it's not used to death. It's just an accessory.
See, this it's because I think it's because these are the first ones, so they didn't know what exactly to do with them at this point. Yeah, I have a quick question on this, and I noticed this is SummerSlam 1995. Was this before Shawn Michaels left with his back injury?
Oh yes, yeah.
Yes.
Or was it 97? Grand.
It's
No,
97.
I'm pretty certain this is before he. Yeah.
This is before he has the injury, isn't it?
Yes.
It's 97. He got the injury. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Grant. Yeah, I just wanted to double check that. My dates are very off. Grant. Right, Dennis. If you want to, have we all got the video lined up? Which, by the way, you will be able to find links for the videos. If you want to watch along. Obviously, I should have said that at the start. I forgot. They'll be in the description. So, Denios, whenever you're ready, if you want to count us in.
3, 2, 1, go.
Back of the net.
Look at those blue tights.
I was gonna say they're fucking
very
brilliant.
torn. I am so fucking torn on this match.
Really?
Why?
My two first wreshling loves.
Look at all those
Look at that
carbiders
mullet.
on the fucking hook. Oh yeah, the mullet.
Jesus
Jesus.
Christ.
Take those sideburns.
Holy shit. Business up front, party at the back.
Notice that everyone has the
This
same
was the
haircut
90s
nowadays.
as well. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this was the fucking 90s. Like, also, lads, that is not. Holy shit.
Doc
Hendricks, baby. Yeah.
That's not
Why
Doc
that
Hendricks.
name?
That's fucking Pat Mustard doing commentary. You fuck off with you. Jesus, Vince, I forgot my trousers.
That
wanted to
annoys
put
me
his
to
big
no
tool
end.
in me little box.
How they put that fucking belt up annoys me no end. That should be tight. That plates front, like what the? Oh my sweet Jesus, that fucking hair.
Again, this is the second ladder match.
Yeah.
So
They were
didn't know how to
figuring this
present it.
shit out. Look at that. That title is beautiful, man.
To be fair, this is not the worst ladder match setup I've seen. Foxy might remember this.
Which one? Oh my god, yes.
Oh boy.
The non-existent one? The one that
Yes.
I wrestled in? Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Again,
we're not allowed to
I
talk
got
about
the
it.
face against Pete Dunne in that. So.
No, it wasn't that, right? It was literally like, Amy, you know the Good Counsel J-Hog. You know the arena on Sure
Oh,
Road.
look, Shawn fixed
Yes!
it. Look at that.
Yay!
Look at
my
that.
boy.
Pro.
Love it.
Demanded it comes down so he can fix it.
This the thing is, no, screw this. In the first match that they had, the referee did the exact same thing. He put it on the hook and it was face down. And before the hook went up, Shawn fixed it and made sure you could see the fucking title. That man knows exactly what he's fucking doing. And I guarantee he probably got somebody fired afterwards. That ref was never seen again.
Now, I mean, you could make the argument, of course, that the reason it's such high quality and because of, Shawn was notorious at this point was because they were such good friends.
Yes.
Look at those rope.
Yeah, they are fucking going right down, man.
Yeah. That terrifies the fuck out of me.
But it's all, you have to remember, Razor's a big guy, man.
The length of that mullet.
I know. That is, yeah.
Razor is a big fucker. It's easy to forget, but he really is. He's like 6'8".
I'm raging. I'm absolutely disgusted with myself that I marked out as much as I did meeting him. It's always my most shameful moment.
Like, everyone had the same kind of hairstyle back then, and nowadays everyone has the same hairstyle. You know, the undercut.
Yes.
Yeah,
Look
like,
at that.
at
I
least now,
love that
the
cell.
undercut it actually looks alright. It looks well. Like, the mullet was never a good look, lads.
No.
I love that cell.
Never.
Just like tease the Razor's edge and Shawn just powders out straight away. He knows exactly what's coming. Fear and runs away
This
from
thing
it.
is as well, these two, like, I know, okay, Grant, I know they're the click and stuff, but they work so well together. And this is the one thing, if Shawn likes you, he will fucking sell for you.
That's the point I was saying.
He will
in this
put
match is,
you over.
yeah, you see, you can argue that, yeah, Razor was part of the clique. That's why he did it. But if you watch Shawn in this, he makes Razor look like $1,000,000. Like, he sells like hell for him.
There's a match, this is the thing is...
Look at this.
Oh. See, the thing is that, like, Kevin Nash was also good mates with Shawn. When Kevin Nash was, when they were basically putting the Diesel face run, Shawn fucking made, like, he turned that around. He was selling at first, and then he turned it into a fucking stinker of a match because
Fucking
he literally
ads.
went, he's not the man he should be putting on top. Are you kidding me?
I have ads as well.
Mate, put your fucking ad blocker on. What the fuck is wrong with yous? Ad blockers. Oh shit!
I don't like to steal content,
Oh,
Jamie.
we do have an episode of something.
Back in the ring.
I still use the fucking Pirate Bay for Christ's sake.
Does that still work?
Nerds or us are not affiliated with Pirate Bay, nor do we condone its usage.
That was a fucking suplex.
Oh!
That was a fucking suplex.
Yeah.
And the ankle off the blinking rail.
Yeah. It's brave to do it when you have that little room.
Yeah.
You could
Also,
see,
as
like,
well, you can actually see
Razor
there
trying to,
is
like, pull him in because he knew he was
Yeah.
overshoot it.
But look at this. They haven't touched the ladder yet.
What's with the fucking
Not yet,
Todd
but they're
Pettingill
trying.
cosplayer in the crowd, by the way?
that is Todd Grills. That's where he was waiting. He did all of his like fucking sound bites from there.
Don't you dare denigrate the great Todd Pettingill.
I love Todd. I
really
adore
love
Todd. I want him in my
Oh.
house like all the time.
Razor's edge. He's teasing for it.
Beautiful. Sweet chin. Nope.
I love as well
Double
that
down.
me and Jonathan head
Yeah.
of this as well. So we have to wait.
Yeah,
for
we
you to
keep
make
getting
the
hit with
comments
fucking
before we-
ads, like, you know. Me and Foxy be finished the match about 10 minutes after he.
Oh,
Good job, lads, for giving 3
Lads,
cents
me
to
knee
a massive
cracked.
multimedia company.
At WrestleMania 10, that particular ladder match that both men were involved in
We
before
support
took
small
short
creators.
videos out of each contestant.
Support your local business.
They could never be the same again, and maybe they weren't.
Support your local business. Watch NXT UK. I know, I couldn't even finish it. Oh, you have to be there.
Oh, even that bounce
that's
into
why
the
you
turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's come back to haunt me. My fucking video froze.
The Hogan
Oh,
spot.
I love this spot. I love this spot. The big fall away off the second. And look at that sell
Oh, okay,
again,
so
man.
I'm
Fucking beautiful.
Yeah. I think we are about like 4 seconds ahead of you. If you wanted the double speed to catch up.
I'm at 6:27 now anyway.
Then
I'm at 6:34.
Yeah.
it's
Right, I'm past 6:45. So let me know when you guys are at 6:45.
Okay. Now.
Well, it's
Thank you.
6:45.
Flashing, yeah.
And now.
Now. Are we all playing again?
Hey.
Oh.
It wouldn't be Nerds Era Us if we didn't have a technical difficulty or all.
Oh, look at that!
Yep. And for once, it's
Oh,
technical. It's just us. We're just difficult.
It's Virgin's fault. It's Sky's fault. It's Vodafone's fault.
It's all a conspiracy by the deep state.
It's
I'm
Air's
in
fault.
darkness state. Sorry.
All right, Val Venus, calm down.
Okay. This is something that genuinely annoys me about
Val Venus.
ladder matches.
All right.
Oh.
No, when they only get on as soon as they get on the ladder, they reach. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, this annoys me to no end. You're on the first ring of the ladder. There is no point for you to start reaching out, sir. I don't see what the issue is.
Or it's like the old like SmackDown, like 1 and 2, where you'd be like,
yeah.
All right, lads, I got hit with another ad, just so you know.
same one. I'm at
I'm on 809. Whereabouts are you guys? Right, so we'll go up to 820, Foxy, yeah?
Right out.
No, I just stay where you were at this point because the videos are going to go out of sync anyway. At some point, we'll have to do it again. So.
Okay.
Right, I'm at 820.
All right.
Ready.
That crowd is going fucking loud, man.
3, 2, 1. Ding.
How can the ladder take the punishment? I don't know, but Shawn Michaels.
Fix the jocks there. Good man.
Yeah, that's why they went mad.
Oh!
Oh, fuck. That was like 2 steps away from the wrecked
That's a
ACL.
knee.
His knee got caught and he took a face plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, lads, I think if we go out with sync, let's just leave it. We'll fucking be grand.
We'll fix it in post.
Still baffling, like how we're on different times, even though we played
It's because
Because you have adverts. It's because
we're gonna
of
keep
the
getting
ads,
hit
but
with
it's
ads,
also
etc.
as soon as someone presses play, it's unless they all exactly start at the exact same time and someone doesn't have a second delay, they will go out of sync.
But like, look at that though. Like a little mishap, and now like
now they've turned it into a work. Like now he's working that same leg.
Quack, 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 quack.
You know, which is great because it was obvious that his leg got caught. So don't try play it off.
No,
use it that it's hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
But like that has to hurt anyway. I'm sorry, but like that has to hurt.
without doubt, does.
Oh yeah. Well, even like I mean, no matter the
like I don't like
padding or
seeing anything. I don't like seeing anything happen to a knee.
No.
I hate seeing anything happen to a knee because like I have my own knee problems, and like it fucking like as soon as the cold weather hits, so does my fucking knee. Like the arthritis like comes, and I'm like, "Ugh, it's horrible."
You'll notice
so anytime
one thing.
I see someone else with, it, I'm like, "Ugh."
One thing I just caught there was in between where Razor was slamming his knee onto the ladder there. You'll notice Shawn adjusted his knee pad down to where he was hitting, and then he moved it back up when he'd finished with it. So little things like that are.
Shawn ain't no fool.
No.
He also knew he didn't have enough drugs in the back to
he's
deal
like-
with this issue. He was like, I do not have
Oh.
enough. Sonny took the bag. So
There was no sunny days.
I don't think there was such a thing
There
as
was
enough
for
drugs
Shawn.
for Shawn.
But again, I love that he didn't slam his back. It was his calves he slammed on the ladder.
That's it. And the thing to remember here
Which
is
even
the
further.
reason he's working the leg now is due to a botch that they've now worked into the match. Like, which is just fantastic to me. You're
See,
making the
this is
best of a bad
again, I'm
situation.
kind of speaking this from a place of complete ignorance, but I always think the sweet spot for matches like this is to kind of like, much like in a way how you like kind of write books or like a script in a way. The first two things you do is your start and your ending, and then the last thing you fill in is the middle. Is like how do you get from point A to point B, and that's exactly like you leave that to the discretion of everyone involved.
Yeah.
Like, where do you want to go with the scene? How does it end? Just remember to start steering yourself back towards that in the end.
Well, I do
Like
know
the middle is yours.
That's
I
great
do know
selling though.
around-
Like look at
Yeah.
Shawn, like
with the whip.
with the whip,
Yeah.
he just fell down.
You don't see that anymore.
No,
You don't see that at all anymore.
like even people nowadays, like I noticed that takeover, like watching it in the first match, the tag team match, and like Dakota Kai got her leg worked on for majority of the match.
Yeah.
But even at the end, she was still coming in and trying to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like, which is
That
a
one,
stark
he couldn't
contrast
even
to
take a
late
whip.
on in the show. Like you have Pete Dunne and Finn Balor, and like the
Yeah.
whole time Pete is selling his leg. He's not even running it. Like he's hobbling.
But that's what I mean. You don't see it enough, and I think it separates it. Like little things like that. If somebody's working your leg the whole time, you shouldn't be able to take an Irish whip. You
No.
should be limping it off or falling or something, like, because your leg's damaged. You know.
Or
Yeah.
I
if you're
personally
gonna take a
like
lot of
that
damage,
stuff.
you have to be like, okay, then I'm proper jumping to
Yeah,
try and
yeah.
clear the- like
But is that not the case for like the person who's on the offense there, to not feed them into spots where they need their knee or their leg?
it's up to
You know.
them. Like they have to
Well,
help you. Like they have to work with you.
Yeah.
But if you're
Like-
still doing that stuff, then no.
Look,
It's
if you've pre-planned spots beforehand, you're
Yeah.
going to go into them, right? So it's up to the person who's taking, etc. If they want to sell a different way to get into a different spot, or a different way to get into the same spot you planned because they're selling something that was unplanned. For instance, as I said, they more than likely didn't plan the whole they may have planned working the leg, but they may not have planned how it started working the leg.
yeah.
This, so they would have had to improvise and adapt to it. So
But even then, right? If there's a case of like, let's say you are one of these people who loves to get the spots in and wants to like have the kind of bullet points of what you want to do. If something like this happens in a match and it's purely organic, something like that occurs, like surely you can kind of make this check of like, well, fuck the spot. This is working a lot better. This is a better story. Like you couldn't.
oh yeah,
they have
as long
engineered
as you
this to be better.
communicate, as long
Yes.
as you communicate it, you're fine.
Yeah.
But you both need to be on the same page, because if you're in there with somebody who may not be comfortable enough throwing the plan out the window and calling it on the fly, then you may need to stick with the original plan, because
That's
you both
another
need to
thing
be on
that is
board.
sorely lacking as well. People being
The
able
ability
to
to call on the fly, yeah.
Because too many people now are so reliant in that style where like they have to plan out everything, which I think kills like actually wrestling, like actually like working a crowd.
Yeah.
You have to be able to like react to how a crowd is like it's cause and reaction. So like if they react this way, you need to be able to adapt and react that way.
Oh, see, that's great. Like, literally, there's nothing else to that. He just hooked the ladder on his leg.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Now I will
else.
say
Like
the advantage that Razor and Shawn had before this is I am aware from reading it, they had worked ladder matches. Now possibly not leading up to the second one, but definitely leading up to the first one. They had dozens of ladder matches on house shows leading up to it, and basically so
like
when
they knew
it came
what they were doing.
when it came
practice
time
makes
to perform,
perfect
they
sense.
just repeated the match for television, you know,
So, like-
which was normal practice.
So I listened to like Kevin Nash. He's done a couple of shoots in the past, but like he explains like how the road, like the circuit works, and he said it like, okay, I'm doing on TV. I'm working with Lex, but at house shows I'm working Brett.
Yeah.
So we've touched like 90 times, and by the time I'm finished working with Lex on TV, like I'm already in a solid, have a solid base with Brett. So when
Yeah.
we start working on TV, the matches are so goddamn tight.
Yeah.
Like that's how he explains it. It's like you're working with the same lad on the house show loop, because that's probably what's coming next on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll iron it out to such a fine degree that they'll be able to do shit like make change. They know the basis of the match so well that they can make their changes on the fly because nothing else is going to suffer because they know where they need to go, like the back of their hand. So something happens like the leg thing, they can adjust and move it along.
I tell you, like, who can, like, because I used to work the Wrestling.ie shows years ago, but I did it for like 3 years solid, and during that whole like time, some of the simplest and the best openers came from, you had Maxer and Paddy Morrow, or you had Maxer and Corvin. They could give you fantastic, like, simple openers to get a crowd into it and just like not go crazy with everything.
That's a lot of betrayal in there. Physics,
Well, he went a bit high on it there, I think.
Physics is a big dude. That's a bit better.
so good. Like the punches that Michaels throws are so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that corner spot could have gone so wrong.
Yeah.
I think like even Razor forgets sometimes like how big he is.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, I won't jump this time.
Oh, iconic moment here. Very nearly went fucking wrong too. Yeah.
I'm probably a few seconds behind, but
again, I do like how he immediately covered by just going, okay, I got him half down, but grand, keep going.
Punches, yeah.
Grand, it's just a quick thinking, improvise. I know it's shit. I'm not gonna
exactly. So, it's like, okay, I know I botched, but let's not pretend I didn't. You know? Yeah.
There's a one fucking wobbly ladder. Oh, there it is.
And he's climbing up. And the crowd are so into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget how like not just Shawn, but Razor was over at the time as well. Like,
oh, that bump.
Foxy loves a front bump, don't you, Foxy?
I hope he was wearing a cup for that one, because like that's a nasty one to like
from quite a height as well, no less.
That's what I mean. Like it's like a front bump is like can be like deceiving, but like to do it off a height, it's like goddamn, like that's painful.
But you have to keep yourself so
actually
flat,
in the replay, the moonsault wasn't that bad.
It was okay. I think it was worse on camera the first time.
Yeah.
But like fantastic, like selling. Like Shawn is down, he's out, and even Razor is just like taking his time. It's like,
but that's what it should be. They can take their time, catch their breath, but they're also getting a message across that this is a fight. They're both exhausted. They're putting.
That's
their all
that
into
rally
it.
from Michaels was a great equalizer, which means now that both of them are fucked going up the ladder. It made this part of the match now make sense. This is what I'm saying about the A and B part. Is the fact that like, okay, we're starting off with this, we're ending with this. What we do in the middle is up to us. But so long as we're steering towards what we're doing here, it makes sense. And that's the way I would, if it was my choice in producing, I'd give them the creative freedom. but with like some caveats, obviously. Like no, don't like nick people's like look at other like finishes as it were, not that type of deal. But like make the match make sense. Make
Like,
Who would ever do that?
little
who
subtle
would ever
things
do
there,
that?
though.
Jim Morris.
I'm watching there, like as Shawn and Razor are climbing.
Oh, yeah.
Shawn slides down because he's still calling something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like little subtle things, like
Well, he's calling him during a sell. So it's
Yeah.
just,
he's doing it during a sell, but like so much so that Razor even sells as well. It's like, oh, like so I can hear the last bit of it. I hate that bump. Ow.
What was that about a cup?
The ropes, like off the ladder.
Sonny was waiting backstage with the ice.
I just keep thinking of like Christian in the TLC. Remember where he missed it completely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Razor missed that. I like when I saw
Razor
that.
stand like nearly.
I like.
That could have twisted his ankle like that.
Like I thought you could rip your fucking quad doing that shit. Like he caught the top of his leg and yanked it up.
Yeah.
That's fucking risky. It's a quick way to a broken nose. That
The
is.
bounce back. Oh Lord.
Just I'm getting fucking Joey Mercury flashes like.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And anyone that knows that match knows instantly
Yeah,
what we're talking about. It's like,
yeah.
Joey Mercury ladder. There you go.
I think Memphis Vesuvius
Joey Mercury and that is
best of
happening.
them.
Changing the match. It may have been. Psycho said though, extremely upset. Wait a minute, what's he doing? What's Razor? Hey, wait a minute. Razor Ramon is pulling out that standby ladder.
Does anyone have a worse commentator voice than Vince McMahon? Like legit, like the guy sounds like fucking Ronan Keaton half the time.
I've never seen this before. Michael sets the ladder up.
I love that announcement there from Vince when Razor pulls out a second ladder, and Vince is just like, we've never seen this before, and it's just like, how far have we come now? That like that was it, to have two ladders was impressive then, you know.
Oh my God, I'm seeing
Two
doubles,
ladders is a massive
4
thing,
ladders.
like,
Oh, he's trying to
yeah,
get it
it's
in
like,
the ladder. Didn't
"There's
quite work.
37
There he
ladders
goes.
in play.
Oh, the
37
humanity!
ladders.
You gotta give it to Shawn. He gave it his all.
And I mean, like, look at Shawn. Like, just he's trying to buy time by like adjusting the ladder and making sure it's right.
Yeah. But you see, with Shawn, the one thing I love, it never looks convoluted.
Yeah.
Like it looks like he's genuinely trying to set it. It doesn't look like he's trying to buy time. You know?
Not only that, like when Razor had him, he's kicking the ladder away because he's trying to give him more space to actually move.
Yeah.
So he can move.
There's one thing, and I think this match is a great example of it, of not just concentrating on the match, but being aware of other things.
Your
like
surroundings,
your surroundings, your ring awareness, how to adjust when things go wrong. You know, even little things at the start, like that Amy pointed out that the belt was facing wrong. Shawn saw it too and wanted it adjusted. That in the grand scheme of things wouldn't have done anything to improve the match. It was a production value.
Yeah, that's
adjustment.
the thing is, like, you know what you want to see. You know how it should look.
Yeah.
He knows how everything should look.
That's it. Now again, he was a dickhead, and he had his own idea
Well, he's
of
our
how things
dickhead.
should be, but he was correct with the likes of it should look this way. Like the belt, yes, the belt should be on show. You shouldn't be able to see the strap.
It's a presentation
Yeah.
piece, like for the attraction match.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it's you want that photo, you want that shot of like,
Yeah, that's what you want. You want the picture.
Now also, and Fox, you may be able to kind of educate us a little bit more on this. Is now I can't quite remember if it was this match or if it was their previous ladder match, but I do know they went horrendously over time on at least one of them. That led to a lot of heat backstage, and I'm just wondering, how and I haven't seen that before. The reach and fall.
It's rarely done, and I'm amazed at that.
Yeah, but it's a great way to show the exhaustion. the desperation. I'm reaching for it and then I fall.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it done since. But sorry, Foxy. One thing you may is relaying the time to them in this situation where there is no ref in the ring with them. I'm presuming, I can't see, but is there a ref on the outside that's relaying to go home to them?
Yes.
Probably on camera, so I would say.
I'll give you a good example.
Oh, look, there he is. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
I see Earl wandering around there.
The OTT had the ladder match with LJ Cleary and Sky Day.
Yeah.
And now, fortunately enough, we had Chris Sharp that day. Thankfully for that show.
Yes.
So that made my job even easier because normally for a ladder match now, depend if you're on a high quality show like
oh god
show, yeah, that's nasty. But on a higher level show, you would have.
Oh, look at the temper.
You wouldn't have a referee inside in the ring at all. They'd be floating around the outside, like what you're seeing there. But on smaller promotions, you're kind of required to stay in the ring because chances are the people that are in the ladder match aren't as experienced. Oh.
Yeah, see what I mean?
That you don't see often, and you'll never see it again because the belts are all Velcro now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's obviously that was a botch. Now, because the tantrum afterwards.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's a nice little character trait to have.
Yeah. Again, but I don't think it detracts from it because it's
no.
You know.
He's angry because he missed it. He thought he had it.
Exactly.
So it's simple little thing, whether they like it or not. But
just realised I finished the match at least 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. I've been done for about a minute too.
No, it was only when I heard.
Fine time for me. That's all it is.
It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't even that. I was thinking, why has nobody reacted to him missing the belt the first time and having to climb it again? I was like, no one else has reacted to it, and then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I must have
going to be a woeful edit.
Too far.
Just to finish what you were saying.
The first time I remember he did that crazy grab.
Just to finish what you were.
The first time he went up and he did that crazy grab, I thought was great, where he just missed it completely because it's like, oh, he's exhausted. He was desperate to try and get, and he fell. It may have been a botch. I don't know. The second time, obviously, he tried to hang over it so it detached, and it didn't, and he just fucking fell, and then he got tick. But I don't think it detracted.
No. Like to basically answer, like when you're on the outside, when the referee is on the outside, and especially if it's 2 referees, it makes it so much easier because we have a time, like with any other match, but we have a time, and during different spots, if they're like a double down or a big move has happened, we're checking on them. We're also letting them know it's like, look, you've last 5 minutes. Come on, start going into it then. Get your last.
So the reason I said that was because I as I said, I'm not quite sure if it was that match or their one previous, but I do know. Look, I say they got heat for it, but they were the click.
10, correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Someone that ran over because Macho Man Randy Savage had a go at everybody because everybody's matches ran over, his included. And
that's right. Yeah,
he literally laid into everybody over. It was WrestleMania 10. It was the first one.
So yeah, well, there you go. So that was curiosity. So it's not relevant to this match, but I do know they went considerably over, and they weren't sorry about it essentially. And I was going to say they got heat, but again, they were the click, so they didn't really get heat.
I'd say they to be fair,
they got heat from the boys. They didn't get it from Vince.
Yeah. The boys.
So
we get the scores then. So again, focusing this on through a Shawn Michaels lens, how do we rate that match?
Very solid.
Purely for his selling alone.
Yeah.
He's a solid 8 for me.
That was one of the things I wanted to get across in this match, and why I preferred it to the first one was I believe he sold like a megastar for Razor. Yeah. And he really wanted to make Razor the star. Even though Razor was doing the job, he still came out looking like $1 million because he was in charge the whole match. And then it was the rally, and eventually he got it.
It's definitely like one of those cases where like who's in charge of it, even though both of them are collaborating with it. You definitely know who was like actually
taking
the master. Yeah, the master stroke on that one, because like, but it's fantastic because it showcases that even if you are taking the lead, you are making sure that your opponent looks equally as strong, even in defeat.
Yeah,
Which not many people are willing to do when they're in that role.
Yeah,
like they always want to look strong in defeat, in the sense like, okay, I know I'm losing, but tonight it's gonna be like the cheapest like way they're gonna get me. Rather than
it's gonna be a roll up. It's gonna be a dirty win. It's gonna be dusty, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like this is like the ladder match equivalent. It's just like, vaulted over Razor and got him when he was like out of the ring. So it's kind of like it's not like hit him with a sweet chin music and he's out for 10 seconds type deal. It was kind of like I sniped the victory from him, but I see your point.
Yeah, like for me, solid selling on both guys, being able to adapt to when things went wrong. Like good offense, like it's a solid 8. Like I don't.
I'm gonna go with the same. I'm kind of mirroring Foxy's point here because it's like much like the Eddie and Jericho match. That felt like a very natural wrestling match. Like these two, they knew what they were doing. There was a kind of like a smoothness and a rhythm that like very few people can kind of have naturally. I think like there's few people nowadays, like the likes of a Norton or a Balor, they have a natural flow to how they do things. But it's very rarely they actually pair up with someone that has the exact same flow, that has the exact same kind of cadence. So when that happens, then you do get an Eddie Jericho match that is so fluid. And same with like HBK and Ramon. They have an understanding of what they're doing and an understanding that, like, let's say if something better comes along in that match, we'll use that as well or incorporate like the stuff like we just said with the knee. That was great. Like I if looking at that match, I couldn't tell you if that was intended or not, and that's brilliant.
That's what you want.
Be able to know. Yeah,
exactly.
So I'm going to give that an 8.5, strictly because like
24.5 total then
24.5. Yeah, because I'm looking at that and just thinking like,
1995. Well, fucking done, sir.
Yeah, good stuff, Dennis. Yeah, and again, like it's a solid start, and in terms of the opening sparrings, HBK is leading.
Yeah, HBK is leading. So the next, here's the thing is because we're leading into the next match now, which is